anybody hold any responsibility to the street nigga violating every motherfucking code we was taught? Right, anybody? Okay. We know what he did.
What's going on today, Rizzle fam? Today, we got more Young Thug updates on the docket. For those of you who've been following this story, you already know what's up. For the rest of you, Young Thug was recently caught on RICO charges, in addition to multiple felonies. And it looks like Wack 100 has some things to say. So did Lucci really snitched on Thug? And what proofs does Wack 100 has to confirm this rumor? Along with Thug, a lot of the YSL crew was also picked up on the same indictment, which is 88 pages long and names over 50 charges. Other members of YSL are also now being held for trial, including some big names like Yak Gotti and Gunna. According to Wack 100, the whole trial might be bigger than just YSL though. He argues that maybe YFN Lucci was involved in the YSL takedown. Gunna and Young Thug have both had bail hearings now, and neither of them are getting out for a while. At least not until they're declared innocent of the charges, but that's not about to happen for real. Their trials are scheduled for clear into 2023. And while their attorneys have filed emergency orders to get them released early, it looks like that's not happening either. Young Thug's attorney argued that he was being held in dungeon-like conditions, and since he's innocent until proven guilty, the lawyer argued that he should be allowed to be free for the time being. The issue here is that that's just how jail works. It's not like other prisoners get special treatment because they haven't been convicted yet. The court argued both Young Thug and Gunna would be too dangerous to get out on bail. The court basically said that if they were allowed out of jail for the time being, they could very easily bribe or intimidate witnesses ahead of the trial. Officially, the investigation's been going on for about 6 months, but that's just what the DA said. And that's also just in regards to YSL. In reality, it's more likely the gang activity in Atlanta has been going on for a long time, especially between YSL and YFN factions. The pages of the indictment actually detail a number of sets in the area, as well as a number of national gangs. That leads us to believe this definitely isn't the end of the indictments. Not only that, if anything, we're likely to see an increase in these kinds of charges for a number of rappers with gang affiliation. Now, of course, YFN and YSL have had issues for a long time. YSL claims that it's not a gang, it's a business enterprise, and that's supposed to exist to lift his friends up out of the hood and introduce great rappers into the world. As much as I'd like to say that's the way it looks, I really can't, because the authorities, one way or another, were able to tap one of the phones YSL was using in jail. And during a deep dive into the text and audio captured from the phone, it was discovered that Young Thug was pushing a couple of YSL members to perform a hit on one of the members of YFN. It's likely that that YFN member was YFN Lucci. After all, it became obvious that YFN Lucci had a bounty on him throughout his stay in prison so far. In fact, there have been multiple attempts on YFN Lucci's life. First, there was the time YFN Lucci's car got shot up. Lucci was completely unharmed, although his driver was hit. The second time, Lucci wasn't so lucky. Back in February 2020, Lucci was attacked while in prison. Another inmate came at him with a sharp object, and Lucci somehow got a hold of something to defend himself with. Lucci survived but sustained an injury to his head. The other guy got some additional charges for attacking him, but Lucci made it out of the scuffle with none. Young Thug was theorized to have some kind of potential involvement in the first attempt on YFN Lucci, but the theories have never really been substantiated. There's even talk about him being involved on an attempt on Lil Wayne's life, which once again hasn't ever been confirmed. All we really know is that Young Thug is definitely mixed up in some beef from the time to time, and he would have had some potential motives for doing the best to perform a successful hit on both Lil Wayne and Lucci, or more likely send another YSL member to do just that. In the case of the second attempt on YFN Lucci, there's a good little bit of evidence that points towards Thug being involved. Just take a look at a couple of pages of the indictment real quick for a little bit more context. In section 178 of the indictment, the court makes it clear that the members of YSL, while speaking over a cell phone to an incarcerated Fulton County inmate, discussed another Fulton County jail inmate who had recently attacked a YSL associate incarcerated at the Fulton County jail. The wiretaps also have evidence that there was a text chain between Young Thug and other local gangsters, leaders of a gang called Money Murder. To make matters worse for Thug, there's speculation from the court that Thug might have driven a vehicle that was used in the commission of a very serious crime. According to the indictment, Thug told a YSL associate named Marcavius Huey that he needs to tell another member if he don't take it back, he gonna die. Thug also told Wonnie Lee and Trevania Stevens, YSL rule the world, kid. 24 mil on a dude's head. Y'all just start bringing me the money. Man, y'all dudes stop playing with me. Of course, all this has people asking questions about why they'd want Lucci gone so badly. I mean, there's the fact that they're all ops, so maybe it would be a danger if he was still around in prison and they'd have had their beef for a while. That being said, they've been ops for a while, and it's not like there aren't other ops in Fulton County. It also obviously wouldn't help their case if they tried to take Lucci out for no reason while they were under an active investigation. Just doesn't add up. Wack 100 thinks he has the answer in a recent Clubhouse meeting, so most of the time they're just sharing their opinion on what's going down with the indictments, and that's when Wack raises the question. He even asked the other guests what they think's going on. Does YFN Lucci have anything to do with YSL getting indicted? Pretty much immediately you could feel the energy change in that chat. A bunch of people started arguing with Wack, basically speaking on the effect of,
Hey.
It's probably a smart move, to be honest, because you can't get yourself in a lot of trouble speaking on stuff that if you're actually out on the streets, if it's all speculation and nothing's coming out in the court at this point, you really don't want it to look like you're sticking your nose into someone else's business on this kind of thing.
So Lucci telling these niggas in here representing the nigga that's telling. That's what's going on. One thing for sure, Thug ain't gay. He ain't told on himself, nigga.
Wack 100 goes in with the Atlanta Goon Squad.
Wack basically said that he knows for sure that Young Thug ain't snitching on himself. There are two things about that though. First of all, the court now entering lyrics into the case as evidence, which is a pretty controversial move. They're claiming that he's admitting to criminal activity in his music, so maybe he is telling on himself. Secondly, it's not like anyone who had to tell on anyone to be completely real here. They've been doing their police work for a long time now, and the fact that there were wiretap only means that they probably knew everything there is to know already. A lot of people have had strong opinions on how okay it is to use lyrics as evidence in a trial. One fan said, why can Young Thug's lyrics be used against him with this RICO case, but Tucker Carlson's words on his TV show can't be used against him? Something's not quite right. Another fan pointed out that they think the whole lyrics as evidence thing is saying, wow, prosecutors read the lyrics from Gunna and Thug's songs to the judge to help him make a decision about bond. I didn't know they could do that. I'm glad Jay-Z is trying to stop that from happening, but he old though. Eventually, as the whole thing usually goes with Wack 100 interviews, the whole thing kind of develops into an argument. Wack starts talking about his street credentials, and the rest of the people in the chat start saying they aren't about to start naming people off from the indictment. They're not about to play with all that. Wack tries to assure them that it's fine because all the names are already in the indictment, but honestly, nobody's about to bite. They understand the risk of speaking out about this kind of thing. After that, a few people in the Clubhouse started calling Wack police for bringing all this kind of stuff up. At this point, Wack is pretty much done with it, saying,
Well, nigga, what you doing on Clubhouse? Get your weird ass off Clubhouse then. Don't talk about it at all.
They also get into talking about the DA, and pretty much all of them could at least agree on the fact that she was basically out to end stuff. She wasn't letting anyone getting off easy. Later down the line, when the trial happens, we'll find out whether or not Lucci was involved. People commenting on the video both agreed and disagreed with Wack. Some even said he was the only one snitching. One commenter said Lucci snitching on Thug is him snitching on himself. They pretty much got the same RICO charges. If Lucci snitched, he would be incriminating himself and make the case against YFN YSL stronger. That would be him admitting their lyrics, social media posts was all true, and they most definitely using it in court. Then ain't nobody going home. So why the would he do that? Another commenter said, let's keep it real. Lucci gets locked up and hit with a RICO, and then Thug and Gunna do. I'm sure Lucci getting locked up put the cherry on the cake for them. For once, I kind of had to agree with Wack on this one. Things are just way too perfect for it to be coincidence. The dude with the price on his head in the indictment has to be Lucci. I'm not about to say Lucci was involved either, but the timing is a little convenient. Like, if this whole thing has nothing to do with Lucci getting caught on RICO charges, potentially attacked by YSL, and then YSL getting arrested shortly after, I'll be incredibly surprised. Lucci has every motivation to be cooperating with the cops on everything right now. There's a giant feud he's had with Young Thug ever since Big Nut passed away, the fact that Thug had probably had a hit put out on him twice now, and the fact that he could potentially get a deal cut if he talked. Now, I know how snitches are treated in this kind of community, and maybe Lucci wouldn't talk. It's just that it would make a lot of sense for him to. But what do y'all think about this one though? Is Wack on one talking about the situation like this, or does it make sense for him to think that Lucci had some kind of involvement? Would Lucci snitch to get revenge against Thug, or is he too much of a real one for that? Will Thug ever see life outside a prison cell again? Let us know what you think down below in the comments, and don't forget to keep it Rizzle. Oh, and if you like this video, you're for sure gonna want to go peep this one next.